Hello everyone. Welcome to our August Yang practice. And for this month, we will do a brief movement break, either to wake you up in the morning, as a break to reawaken you in the afternoon, or maybe even after dinner to kind of perk up your energy and help you digest by getting some movement going. You actually technically don't even really need a yoga mat for this one. We'll stay standing, and there is a seated variation that I will link below if you would prefer to stay seated. Okay, let's start in our tall mountain pose, closing our eyes for just a moment here, turning our attention inward, bringing awareness to movements of breath, feeling the fullness of our breath pushing out in all directions. Rib cage expanding front, side, and back. We may be aware of movements of the collarbones or shoulder blades, shoulders. We may feel as though our breath is in the sides of the waist or the low back. We're probably aware of movements of our belly. And let's check in with our abdominal muscles here. If it feels like our abs are really tense and gripping, we can soften them slightly, allowing our breath to drop deeper. And if it feels as though our abs are quite lax, maybe we're even taking our hands to our bellies to bring awareness to our abdominal muscles. Our abs and the rest of our muscles of our core hug in to give us stability around our pelvis and spine. And let's scan the body, head to toe, noticing how everything's feeling. And making note in your mind if there's any area of the body that needs to be treated a little more gently today or really wants to get going. Using this as time to remind ourselves that we can always customize our practice for however we are right here, right now, today, and how we're feeling at any moment as it comes. And then we're ready to get moving. Eyes opened if they're closed. Let's circle sweep the arms. Inhaling arms up overhead and exhaling hands down through heart center. Saying hello to our shoulders and the range of motion in our arms. I'll do some quite large arm movements today, but you can always keep it small for yourself if that works best. Next time our hands are at heart center, let's pause with them there. And then we'll bring hands to hips, coming into lateral flexion here. So we may like to keep our hands at our hips the entire time through for stability and support for our core, our pelvis, our back. Let's reach right arm up to shoulder, maybe fingertips to ears, or maybe up overhead, yogi's choice, and then we'll come back down through center. Let's test that out on the other side. Do we want to go low, medium, or high? Checking in with our arms and shoulders and whatever else is going on, and then we'll flow side to side. Inhaling one side, exhaling, coming back through center. Our arm movement may be quite small today, maybe really big and free flowing. I will leave that up to you. But we can also think of this as an abdominal exercise. So as I'm lifting the left arm, then the left side of the abs have to work to pull me back to center, and the same on the other side. So with our exhale, our abs are really working. We'll go once more each way. Coming back through center. Let's make our way through cat and cow. I'll turn sides so you can see me. We can inhale as we reach forward. Exhale as we transition to reach back. And then inhale to lift our hearts. So we're making our spines a C bend one way. And then a C bend the other way. And again, maybe we're moving a small range of motion. We could be reaching without clasping or interlacing. And in the back range of motion, we could be reaching without clasping or interlacing. Let's keep going a few more times here. It might feel really nice to bend the knees as well. We can imagine that we're moving from heart center, stretching heart towards the wall behind you, and then stretching heart towards the wall in front of you. And then the next time we have our hearts lifted, let's pause there for a moment. And it may feel nice to do some movements of the neck to loosen it up. And we'll bring ourselves back through center. We can roll our shoulders out. We'll do a standing rotation here. And I would actually usually say take the feet wide to more of a Tai Chi stance for our rotation. We can start with our hands on our ribs. Inhale to stand tall, and then exhale, we'll turn and twist, taking the center of our chest and our rib cage towards the center wall. Back to center, towards the side wall, and then center. Exhaling as we twist, and we may be picking up our heel and pivoting as we go. We may like to bring our arms parallel with the floor and pull back one elbow at a time. So as we're twisting to the right, pulling back the right elbow, and as we're twisting to the left, pulling back the left elbow. We'll go just once more each way. Come back through center, and we'll release those arms. Now, if you're standing at the top end of your mat, we'll all open out wide to face the long edge of our mat for sunflowers and moonflowers. Inhaling up and out, making our bodies like an X. This is 5-pointed star pose. And then exhaling, we bend elbows and knees together into a low squat. And that's our pattern. Inhale, straighten. Exhale to bend. We may again like to bring hands or fingertips to our abs to double check. Are my abdominals actually holding me in? Have I forgotten about them? Am I slumping? So let's see if we can be tall and stretching, and that our muscles are also hugging inward. We'll switch this up. Again, 5-pointed star. And now we're hinging from our hips for sunflowers. So moonflowers is a straight up and down movement, and our sunflowers have us sort of chopping ourselves in half at the hips and reaching forward, but our spine still stays straight for sunflowers. Really, cat is the only time that we would round the upper back. The rest of the time, we stay in a neutral spine. It's the safest for our load bearing. And the next time we're at the bottom, let's pause down there. We might like to bring hands to thighs, forearms to thighs, hands to ankles, or fingertips to floor. And we can have a little freedom of movement while we're here. Once more, we'll use our abdominal strength to bring us back up to the top. Our leg muscles will kick in. And we're ready to walk the feet together and come back to standing. Let's give us some room in front of ourselves. So we'll actually walk a little bit to the back of the mat, and we're going to warm up our legs. We may like hands to heart center, or again, hands to hip to give us some stability. We'll do a gentle lunge forward. So a step forward and then back, a step forward and then back. So sort of like our lunges in a boot camp class, the back heel lifts up. So if you do a lot of weightlifting or something like that, you may be familiar. But for our purposes today, we just kind of want to warm up, energize, and feel some kind of forward movement in our lives. So we get that momentum going. What kind of arms can we use? Maybe cactus arms, showing our muscles as we're stepping forward. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. All right, this time let's step forward, but we'll leave our back foot planted. So instead of the heel coming up, we can put a fair amount of space between our feet, settle in, and our back foot presses down. To get more stretch through the back of the leg, so our calf muscle, let's press the heel down even more, really activate. We're standing tall. And we may like to again be in our cactus arms, opening elbows to 90, drawing the elbows back. Let's take a big breath in and out. And we'll switch to the other side. If we want to be fancy, we can actually just pivot the feet. So you'll be facing away from me, but I promise you, you've got this. Split stance with the feet, pressing down through both heels. Strong, tall posture. And if we like to open our arms to cactus, that's always an option. We'll bring hands back down to heart center or hips. We'll pivot back to the top of the mat. Let's step our feet together. We've done all sorts of movement. Let's have a moment of stability to check back in before we move on with our day. Option for tree pose here, a good one to center our minds. So let's bring our weight onto one leg, turning the opposite knee open. If we like this option, we've been working on hands to belly or pelvis to be in control from our core. We can do that. We might like to look more yogic, hands at heart center, spreading our fingers can help us to focus on spreading our toes. We could do our cactus arms like we did earlier. Maybe our branches are straight out to T to help us focus on our balance or overhead. Let's do a full breath in and a slow breath out. We'll do one more of those, full breath in. And as we do our slow breath out, let's slowly release our tree pose. Slow motion. Other side. Here we go. Tree pose. Any kind of tree we want to be. Growing roots into the earth. Spreading fingers, spreading toes. Tall and sturdy. Full breath in, long breath out. And this time with the long breath out, we'll come out of our tree pose in slow motion. Okay, we've brought our energy up. Let's balance before we head on out of here. So we've just done what's called, sympathetic exercise, meaning we're sort of in this awakened, active state. Let's come into a moment of peace so we can carry that peace throughout the rest of our day so that we're not just constantly going. All right? So we have that fight-flight response, but then we also have this rest and digest response. Let's bring ourselves into that now. If we like this option to bring hands to belly, we can allow our abdominal muscles to soften slightly. That can help us to be more restful, peaceful, content. We can bring a gentle smile to our lips. Option to inhale for a count of 4, and then stretch the exhale out for a count of 6 or 8. Checking back in with how we're feeling again, giving ourselves a little pat on the back. And we'll gently wake ourselves up once more, circle sweeping the arms. Inhaling, arms up to sky. Exhaling, hands down through heart center. Let's do 3 more of those. Bringing hands to heart. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Namaste.